Good afternoon. It is Frank, and it is Lunch with the Leaders. I'll be your host today. Right now, I don't have a co-host, so I guess I'll be doing double duty, admitting the stragglers in and working the system myself. No problem. I used to be able to multitask. Maybe I can resurrect that talent. All right. So I want to get started off by saying that next week is January 6th, and we will be broadcasting live from the Grand Ballroom at the Marina Inn in the Grand Dunes, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. All of those who did the very minimum that I asked you to do will be getting tickets to come to 2 nights, 3 days, and the Grand Ole Opry to watch the Christmas extravaganza. Again, all you had to do is one of these 6 items, either become an Easy Pro agent yourself, not for $19.97, but only $9.97. Submit sterilization with a $500 retainer. If you did that, you would qualify. Just one. I know David's got 2 or 3 or 4 lined up. If we just did one of them, then he would qualify. Recruit 5 agents as resellers for the PTLCC program. Now that program, we're ready to launch that program, and the PTLCC will be free for resellers for the month of January. It's going to be free for resellers to sign up. You're going to want to sign up as many as possible, as many resellers as you can find. At the end of January, it's going to go to the same as the MLOC, the Merchant Line of Credit, and it's going to be $250 to become a reseller. So at that point in time, you should have 5 to 10 people underneath you, and those people will go with you when you become a pro agent. You will automatically bring those people with you, and you'll automatically earn a 50% override on everything that they do. So that's a fantastic thing. You really need to get as many resellers lined up for January as possible. The other thing you could do is put in 5 PTLCC, that's personal term loan, credit challenged applications then that need to be approved. That's a job just in itself, getting them approved, and that would have gotten you that prize. Or submit a PTLA, just 3 PTLAs with a 680 FICO. If they have a 680, it's almost guaranteed that they're going to get approved. And we're not waiting for anyone's ideas. The time for ideas is over. I did want to scroll all the way to the bottom, and I want to make sure that everybody creates a page somewhere that is easily accessible, so that when somebody says, how do I go about getting my credit report? You want to get the credit report for them by clicking on this link. If they don't have time right then and there, you can go ahead and send them that link, although I don't like doing it that way because sometimes they don't get back to you. We need to absolutely make sure that you find a way to save these in a very convenient place and have a very quick explanation of what they are, like the credit repair, which is $79 to start, $120 a month for 6 months. They give you 12 months worth of service and a 7-year guarantee. Or the credit restoration, which is rebuilding your whole entire credit profile from everything to everything. That's $188 to start, $89 per month. There is no contract. You set your own goal. When you reach that goal, you can just quit at your own goal. It's not up to, there's a company, it's totally up to the individual. There are 12 programs that are working simultaneously to improve your score, and you get the use of all 12 of them for $188 down and $89 per month. And then the last one, of course, is the credit sterilization. For the credit sterilization, the Queen is in charge of that department. This is her entire department. She has complete control over the entire domain. And so treat her well, treat her very well,
Please
because
do.
she has the power to get all of your clients started. Now, if you saw up above, it's $25.95. That's not for everybody. It's not for ma and pa looking for maybe a mobile home, but it certainly is for somebody who's looking for a big deal, and they could either win a lot of money or lose a lot of money just by getting their credit squared away quickly in under 30 days. And if that's the case, we now have an option where we can put $500 as a retainer. And if you put down $500 as a retainer, we'll work on your credit and work on getting you a loan at the same time. And that is a super duper deal. And to get in touch with the Queen, you dial 678-777-7520. And when the Queen calls you, when you see all those sevens, that's your money. A lot of people are screening their phone calls. Don't screen that call. That's your money. So I wouldn't screen that call if I were you. All right. Does anyone have any questions about that before I jump into a PowerPoint presentation? All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and jump right into a PowerPoint presentation. I don't see anybody new coming on. And let me just see if this, Regina, if I tried to make you a co-host, would that be okay? Could you watch the top of the screen to see if?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, make a host. Oh, no. 1 week we had make a co-host, and today the make a co-host is gone. All right, I guess I'm not going to be able to do that. That's okay. I'll try to watch it. If anybody sees somebody popping in up above, just let me know and I'll let them in. All right. So everyone is, I'm going to mute all. Yes to mute all. And then I'm going to get going. And if you have a question, you're going to have to unmute yourself. Okay, so the first question is, can anybody see my screen? And tell me what it says on my screen.
We're still on the credit program information.
Okay, I'm glad you said that, because now I need to go to, uh-oh, what happened? Oh no. How about now? What are you seeing?
And now I see Easy Financial Service Group, 123020.
Okay, that's exactly what I wanted everyone to see. All right, so today what we're going to talk about is something that is vitally important. I have a tendency to give a lot of people more than they can handle, and I don't mean to do that because I'm mean. It's just I like, and I'm not mean. I don't mean to do it because I want to overwhelm you. I certainly don't want you to be overwhelmed, but sometimes because Easy Financial has so much to offer that we've sometimes get kind of stuck in like, okay, what do I do next? I've got so much to learn. And that's what today's going to be about. And it's about actually getting started and what do I do next? There you go. And I'm going to try to clean the screen up a little bit. Okay, so that you can see that screen. I don't know if what's on my screen is interrupting you or not, but I can see 10 phases of initial consult. Is that correct?
That is correct.
All right, great. All right, so let's go. The 10 phases of initial consultation or consult is starting with a greeting. You have to greet people. That's the first thing. So If you have a list of people that we supply you or you get on your own, the first thing you need to do is reach out to them and greet them. The second thing is referral sources. As each and every one of you become pro agents, you're all going to have standard agents underneath you. And the standard agent is basically what we call our referral source, as well as other people like real estate people, like other mortgage broker people, like RIA groups. Those are referral sources, and you need to know and make friends with those referral sources because they can give you an endless supply of business. Then confirmation of the time to talk. When you call somebody on your initial consultation, you want to make sure that this is a good time to talk. And then once you have done that, then you want to go over the scenario so that the the client that you're talking to knows that you understand what it is that they want to do. And then you need to have you need to follow a consultation process. You have to figure out which one this is going to be, business or real estate. It could be both, but it's usually one or the other. It's not always both, sometimes, but not always. And then you have to follow up with some personal questions so that you create a rapport with that person. And then you have to have a fairly good idea of what the target program is that you're going to be recommending to that person. I'm trying to work with Regina now so that Regina can basically get the credit application, read the credit application, go through this process, and guide the client into the right program for them. But as pro agents, you should be doing the same thing. So now docs needed is whatever the documentation is needed. You know, some of the docs are very light, like some of them are no docs. Some of them are just your credit report. Some of them business. You need the four basics, your driver's license, your voided check, your EIN, and your articles of incorporation. You need to know what documentation you need for each product that you're going to represent. And then what is the goal and what's the estimated time of arrival for that goal? And then you want to get that commitment from the client. So the first thing is the greeting. When calling, always assume that the person who answers the phone is the person that you were looking for. It's recommended not to say, is this John? Even if it is, he might not answer. He might say, oh no, John's not here right now. All kinds of silly things like that happen. It would be better to say, hey, this is Frank. John, I'm calling you because I'm working with David, and David is going to help you with your financing of your project. It looks fantastic project, and we really want to help you. John, do you have a few minutes to talk with me right now? Now, if what's happened right there is John has put himself into the correct mindset. He's not considering like, who the heck is this? I don't recognize that phone number. Is this another bill collector? Who is this? No, right away, you and him are best buddies because you're talking about his project and you love his project or her project. You have to be clear and concise. If you have a lot of oohs and ahs and no, that's not going to work. Because if you project doubt and fear, they have doubt and fear also. You have to be upbeat. You know, you called them because you have the answer for them. They've been shopping around, believe me, they may tell you they're not, but they've been shopping around. They've been turned down by 100 other guys. And you're going to be talking to them as if you got the pot of gold and you can't wait to share it with them. That attitude, that feeling, that confidence will flow over to them, and they will love you subliminally. They will start to feel good about you like right away because you followed all of these questions up above. And the other thing is, you got to know the time zone. I'm always guilty of this, especially if I'm calling Ty in California. I might call him at, I don't know, 9 o'clock my time, which is like 6 a.m. his time. I do stuff like that, but because I don't pay attention to the time zone, it's important. And um, you probably won't have as much on your plate as I have on mine. So take that extra second to find out what time zone is this person in and what is the best time to call that person. So you want to be respectful of of their time zone. And then something again I'm kind of remiss at since I retired. I threw my calendar away, and I guess I got to dig it out again because I'm sometimes miss meetings. If you have a calendar and you use a calendar, it will help you stay on track and be connected with your people. And the last thing is is something that is very near and dear to me. We have 750 sub agents or standard agents that we're going to be distributing to all of the pro agents. We're going to give you as many as you can handle. I want you to make as much money as you possibly can in 2021. I want it to be your year. So I want to give you as many people as we possibly can and as many leads as we possibly can. And when I tell you you have to have 3 to 8 contacts per person, a contact is a call and leave a voicemail, a text and tell them you're going to send them an email, and an email. That's one contact. Call, text, email. If you do that religiously, call, text, email every time, then you will have a good connection rate and you'll connect to the people because they may have avoided your call because they don't know if it's a bill collector or not. They always will check their text. Look at yourself. You check your text every 10 or 15 minutes or anytime you hear your phone bling. And then your email, well, if you got a call and you got a text telling you there was going to be an email, then the chances of you opening that email are greatly improved. Now, email used to be the most fantastic way to advertise, but text has taken over because not everybody has the email with them, but everybody has their cell phone with them. And if you text that cell phone, the chances are very strong that you're going to connect with that client and you're going to turn that prospect into a client. Or you might say a suspect into a prospect and a prospect into a client. All right, I'm trying to move the screen, Frank. Why is the screen not moving? There we go. Referral source. Okay. So convey who you are and your company. Hi, John. This is Frank with Easy Financial Group, and you're working with David, and David is trying to get you the money to fund your project. Okay. You have to know that your client knows David, but your client doesn't know you. So if you quickly refer to David, even if he doesn't remember David's name, and then you quickly refer to his project, and David's trying to get him the funding. Oh, yeah, that was that nice guy I spoke to that said he'd love to do my project for me. Yeah, that's the one. And now you've got a connection made. You do want to mention the referral source several times throughout the conversation. So, David told me that you want to build outhouses on the moon. That's fantastic. We'd love to fund a project like that. And so, but you want to refer to the referral source several times to reinforce that name, number one, and to instill that name in his memory, so that when David calls back and said, hey, did my underwriter or did my upline, I don't like to call it upline, but did my manager give you a call? And then the answer is, oh yeah, David, yeah, he did give me a call, or she did give me a call. Okay. And confirm that they know that the agent's site. Now, a lot of you guys are not really utilizing the finance agent's site. Finance agents gives you a beautiful free site. It doesn't cost any money for you to have their back office. And I'm going to go in a little while, I'm going to go into the back office and show you what the site looks like and what you should know about the site. But there are links right there on the site that you could be using on a regular basis, and you could let the site start doing work for you. Right now, currently, Ty and myself are working on automating the system so that you'll send them to what's known as a landing page, and that landing page will be unique to you. And then they'll go to your site, and then they'll fill out the information on themselves. And basically, all we have to do is follow up. All the hard work will be done. That's in the future. It's not far in the future, but it's in the future. Okay, confirmation of time. This is real important. So we called up John and said, hey, John, this is Frank, and David who's trying to get you the funding for your property, for your project, asked me to give you a call. Could we spend about 20 minutes together right now? Well, yeah, I'm driving home right now. I'm on the freeway. Oh, no. I wouldn't want you to have an accident or anything. I wouldn't want you to miss your exit. No, and all of those things have happened to me. No, I don't want to do that. When would be a better time? When will you be at home or in your office where you can close the door and we can spend about 20 minutes uninterrupted time? What would be a good time? All right, tomorrow, blah, 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 this time. Fine, I'm going to write it down on my calendar. And whether I write it down on my calendar or not, I say Thursday at 12:30 p.m. I didn't write anything down, but it surely sounded like I was writing something down. I do that because, again, that burns that into the person's memory that, oh, Frank thought it was important enough to actually write it down. I think it's probably important enough for me to go ahead and meet him. Now, what I would also do is I would tell him, I'm going to send you an email and a text just to confirm that time. By sending him a text and an email to confirm that time, the chances of that person showing up is greatly improved versus a no-show. You've set up the time, you've got yourself all prepared, you've done all your homework, and then you call and they're taking the dog for a walk. Okay, I was getting ready to give you $500,000, but go ahead, you walk the dog. When you get back from the dog walk, give me a call. You want to have their undivided attention so that when you're speaking to them, they totally understand and they get what it is you're talking about, and they're not worried about stepping in dog poop or anything like that. And you want to make sure that it's a convenient time for them so that they can close the door and you and them can talk. You want to make absolutely positive that you have their full attention. If you don't have their full attention and you say anything complicated at all, their eyes glaze over you lose them, and you have many times, if many times you have no way of getting them back. A confused mind says no. If you, I mean, think about yourself. If you ever had to make a decision about anything and you were completely confused, your decision was probably no. Well, I'm not going to do it. Or I don't understand. Or I need more information. Or I got to check with my wife, my husband, my boss, my kids, whatever. But you don't do it because you're confused. So you want to make sure that you have their full attention. And then if they do not seem to understand something, at least if you got their full attention, they can say, "What did you mean by that?" Then you explain to them. And oh, now I understand. All right. Review their scenario. Why is this important? You want to confirm any information that you have on them, and you want to give them the ability to talk. Even if you've got it spelled out as clearly as David spells things out for me, it's like beautiful. It's okay. So, John, tell me about your project. I do it with every single client. Tell me about your project. Whether I may have an executive summary in my hand. I say, tell me about your project. And they tell me, well, Frank, we got this idea that we're going to be going to the moon soon. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to build outhouses on the moon. That's fantastic. I love it. That's the kind of a project we'd love to fund. Okay. And I don't care what the project is. My answer is always the same. That's fantastic. I love it. That's the kind of project we absolutely want to fund. Well, I don't care what it is that they say. We want to be positive. Can we fund every crazy project under the sun? Not necessarily. Can we get them in at least going in the right direction, getting their credit squared away, getting a small loan before we get the big loan? Absolutely. If you just said no, you lost the whole client. You lost everything. If you say, oh, outhouses on the moon, are you crazy? Goodbye, click, next. But if we find out that he needs credit, sterilization, well, cha-ching, that's one sale. And now that he's got credit sterilization, he could use unsecured business funding. Okay, cha-ching, that's another $100,000 deal. And now he's got the property that he wants to get. His credit is squared away. Everything is good. He's got the down payment, money ready to go. Cha-ching, you got a $500,000 sale. That's the whole idea, is you want to make the client speak to you. Let them talk. Let them talk. Let them feel good that you understand what it is that they want to do. Most of all, listen, 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 listen. If there's one thing people say about me, it's I listen. I'm half deaf nowadays, but I listen, listen, listen. And when somebody tells me what their pain is, if I don't get this thing done, I'm going to lose $250,000. Later on in the conversation, because I listened, I'll say, well, we have a credit sterilization product. It's about $25.95. However, if you're going to lose $250,000, I think this is a drop in a bucket, don't you? Yeah, I do. Because I listened. That's what you need to do. Okay. And then use follow-up questions. When you're speaking to them, make sure that you understand what it is that they're really talking about. Ask a follow-up question like, what's the most important thing to you? Is it speed? Do you want us to get it done yesterday? Or is it the cheapest price on the planet? Both. Okay, ask another question. Ask a question, well, what's your past experience? Have you, I'm going to give you an example of both. Have you experienced somebody with the cheapest price on the planet and find out that it's really turns out to be crap? Yeah, I do. Then it's then it's not that important to have crap. You really want something that works for you, right? Yes, it's got to work. Okay, there you go. What's your past experience? I'm going to make believe we're talking about a business owner. What's your past experience? Well, I want to buy a restaurant. Yes. So, what's your past experience? I used to, for 25 years, I ran a forge. A forge. Yes. And you want to buy a restaurant? Yes. What does that tell me? It tells me that you know how to burn food. No, that's wonderful. That's a fantastic project. I love it. That's exactly the kind of project we like to fund. I don't care if he's been a forge. A forge is, burns food, burns metal. So they definitely burn food. But if he wants to do a restaurant, I want to help him. Uh, let's go on and take notes. Even I can't remember everything that people are telling me when they tell me. And if you have your computer opened to their screen when you're talking because you've got comfortable using uh, the your back office that you have with finance agents, if you had your screen open, you can take notes, and then the next time that we speak to that client, we'll know exactly what it is that we spoke about previously and bring it up like I've been thinking about you for the last week. All right, let's move on to the next one. Your consultation process. You want to convey what programs you have in your portfolio. You want to guide the person into the correct, the proper solution for them. It may not be what they asked for. They might have asked for 100% finance. They might have asked for a $2 million SBA loan, and there's no way on earth they can qualify for that. But what you want to do is you want to convey what programs you do have that will work for them, that you can work towards that $2 million SBA loan. First thing, SBA wants you to be in business for 2 years. Have you been in business for 2 years? No, I'm just opening up next month. Well, then you declined. Wrong answer. You want to work with them. You want to get them in the correct frame of mind. What are we talking about? SBA, equipment, personal term loans, business directed retirement accounts, unsecured business funding, revenue based advances, or commercial real estate. What is it that we have that's going to solve their problems? Each one of those up above does have their own underwriting division, or at least they used to. They probably will again. Just depends on how many of them I keep, how many of them we keep. And something we really should talk about is what is their experience been with COVID-19. I was on the phone yesterday with somebody that's known me for 20 years. And we've drifted apart. We've done other things. He went his way, I went my way. We're doing different things. And he's come full circle back again, and he wants to open up a restaurant. And he wants to do the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. He wants to buy Conex containers. Those are the shipping containers that they ship things internationally. He wants to re-outfit it and make them into restaurants that he can just drive to a location, drop it off, and you're in business. What a crazy, wonderful idea. A best idea I've ever heard of. That is fantastic. That's exactly the kind of project we want to fund for you. Tell me what we can do to help you. Well, since this COVID-19, he opened up a real restaurant, and his real restaurant went under. He's in Pennsylvania, a lockdown state, and he's been locked down. He can't pay his rent. He can't pay his help. He can't pay for his food. He's out of business basically. The only thing that's keeping him alive is his carryout. So that made him think, if I only could do nothing but carryout and plant carryout restaurants all over the country, wouldn't I be a millionaire? Yeah, he would. Yes, he absolutely would. And that's exactly the kind of program I want to help him with. Isn't it the kind of program you want to help him with? Okay, this is difficult one to address because I certainly do not want to overwhelm Regina. So you as a pro agent are going to have to take some of the responsibilities when your referral sources, your standard agents, bring you files. We need to do an internal review to provide clarity. The first thing is we have to get them a credit report. First thing on every deal. If they want to borrow $10 or $10 million, the first thing we need to do is get a credit report so we know where they stand and what we have to do to achieve what they want. Second thing we need to do is we have to have an internal review within Regina, myself, maybe somebody else in the underwriting department, but certainly the pro agents need to fully understand the path to success. As I outlined a couple of times above, they may want that $10 million loan. They're definitely going to get a decline. So what we need to do is get their credit squared away. Okay, now let's get them a small loan. Okay, now they have working capital and down payments. All right, now let's get them a bigger loan. All right, now they have actual money and they can actually do something. Okay, now let's go for the big loan. All right, so we need to do an internal review and make sure that we have, I would like to see a flow chart. I don't have one. Maybe Ty will make us a flow chart of what step by step that we want to do to put the client through to make sure that we are the people for that client. Confirmation of commitment. So far, we have done all of this work for how much money? Zippo, free, nothing, nada. We've been working for you, Mr. Client, now for 45 minutes for free. All right. We do need to be paid. So you want to start getting commitment from the people early. And the way to get a commitment from the person early is, like I said, that's the best idea I've ever heard of. Those are the kind of jobs we love to work with, and I definitely want to fund you. Let me ask you a silly question. If we can come up with a solution for you, you're going to go with us, right? Shut up. Wait for the right to come back. Yeah, right. Sure, of course. All right. Now you have permission to go forward and do the other things. But when you ask them that closing question, so if we get you the funding, you're going to go with us, right? Then when they say, right, you know you've got a commitment. You may have to get a stronger one, but you can start with little commitments in the beginning. So you want to ask them questions about their business. Like, how long have you been in business? I'm going to just give you, I'm not going to go into the detail. That's for another class. But I'm going to tell you that if they're a startup, 99% of the people blow them off right off the bat if they're a startup. We love startups. We love home-based businesses. We love online businesses. We love people that are getting ready to go into business next month. We love startup businesses. So it could be a startup. It could be 1 to under a year is a startup. 1 to 2 years is um, you've been in business, and 2 years and above, whatever the number that we think we're going to get you, more than likely we will get you 30% more. So if we think we're going to get you $100,000, if you've been in the same business for more than 2 years, that's the magic number in all credit. If you've been in whatever you're doing, if it's been doing it for more than 2 years, the chances are you're going to continue to succeed. And therefore, instead of getting you the 100,000, we'll give you 130,000. That's just the way it is. I didn't make the rule. That's just the way it is. You want to ask them, how much revenue do they currently have right now? Are they making $1 million a month? Are they making $100,000 a month? Are they making $50 a month? What is your revenue? What's your revenue look like? What does your credit look like right now? Remember, what the first thing we want to do is we want to get that credit situation out of the way. We want to find out for sure what their credit is. So I'm coming back now and I'm just reiterating, what is their credit? That's something real important that you need to know. Because a lot of guys want to borrow $1 million and they've never paid anybody in their life. And their credit report is horrendous. Does that mean he's out of business? No. It means we have to go through credit sterilization. Regina, oh Queen, I need to talk to you. All right. This guy's never paid anything in his life. Can we get rid of all of this crap for $25.95? We can. Sure, we can. All right. What is the ownership? Do you own 20% of the company? Well, that's okay if you own 20%. Anyone who owns 20% or more needs to be on the contract. Does he own 50% of the company? That's better. It's even better. Does he own 100% of the company? That's, of course, the best. But if somebody has at least 20% ownership in the company, they need to be aware of what the company is doing. If the company is going to commit them to $1 million loan, they better be aware, because if they're not made aware, their attorney can come back and say, we don't owe you a dime because my client had no idea that his 80% partner was indebting him for $1 million, so we ain't paying you. And he's probably going to win. Okay. What are you going to use the funds for? I'm trying to go as fast as I can. I don't know if I'm going to make the hour because I got so much left to go. So what are you going to use the funds for is a big question. And what will happen if you don't get the funds? That's a follow-up question. What are you going to use the funds for? Expanding my business. What will happen if you don't get the funds? And wait for the answer, because that's the pain. You're looking for the pain. If you give him the funds, you solve the pain. If you don't have the funds, he's going to tell you what the pain is. How will it help your business? So I'm going to expand the business. Well, how's it going to help? Well, I'm going to be able to buy more inventory. I'm going to be able to put on more people. I'm going to be able to rent a bigger building. I'm going to be whatever I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be able to put on more trucks. Okay, now we know what's going to happen with the money and how it's going to help this business. And what kind of return on investment are you looking for? So if I give you $100,000, what do you look like? What does it look like that you'll be able to get in return? Oh, I'll be able to get $102,000 back. $2,000 isn't going to pay the interest payment. So you got to do something better than that. Tell me more. And you're not going to deny him for it, but he has to understand. I've had many people come to me who want $100,000 and they're going to make 105 or 110. Like, do you have any idea that there are other costs that are involved? So now if we're talking real estate, again, the more experience you have, the better chances are you're going to get the best possible deal and the most possible money. So how many houses have you flipped in the last 2 years? I haven't flipped any. I took a course last month and I plan on doing my first one in 6 months. Okay, you're not going to get the best deal, but we can certainly help you. That's what we want to do. I've flipped 5 houses last year. I expect to do 10 houses this year. You're the man. I'm definitely going to help you. What's the target property type? I like to do single family residence. I like to do multifamily residence. I like to do strip malls. I like to do hotels and big buildings. Okay. Now we know. What's your location? Out in the middle of nowhere. Wrong answer. Uh, within 25 miles of a big city. Okay, right answer. And or downtown USA. Perfect answer. Okay, what's your value? I want to buy 100 $20,000 houses. Wrong answer. Now we can still do it. That's exactly the kind of project we want to work with, but it's going to take a little bit of steps to get there. In other words, we're going to have to get him not a mortgage, but unsecured business funding and a personal term loan. With that money, he can buy those $20,000 houses for cash, and then he won't have a mortgage. Next, how much do you already owe right now? What do you owe? What we need to know if you can pay the bills that you have now, and will if we give you money, are you going to be able to utilize the money? Will you make enough money to be able to pay off your bills and these new bills? Are you buying income producing property, or are you buying something that is like a boat, a hole in the water that you pour money into? You don't want to do that. Okay. Here's the most important question. How much money do you have to bring to the table? Oh, I have to bring money to the table? I thought I could get 125% buy, fix, and flip. I have to have money? Well, it helps. It doesn't mean you're out. It means we have a little work to do. What's your credit like? I haven't paid anyone in my life. Oh, okay, great, no problem. We have a little more work to do. You see what I'm doing? These are real life scenarios. These are real life people come to me on a regular, everyday basis and have these stories. And, they'd like to get $1 million, but they don't have any money and they never paid anyone. So we have to work through that. Personal questions. What's your personal credit like? Have I beaten that dead horse yet? I want to know what their personal credit. It's the first thing that we have to accomplish. The first thing. Actually, if Regina is doing it, she's going to ask for them to pull the credit report right there on the spot. She's going to log in and get their credit for them. As a pro agent, you should be saying, Frank, would love to do would love to finance you whatever project that you have. What does your credit look like? I don't know. Or it's 950. Well, that's fantastic. This credit score only goes up to 900, but if you get a 950, that's great. Let's pull your credit report right now. And then you put in the identity IQ information. You just read it off the screen. What's your correct spelling of your first name, last name, phone number, and then what credit card are you going to pay this with? And then you now have their credit, full credit report. Now you know what you're working with. Do you have any again, we're talking about, this is now personal questions. Do you have any industry experience? Whatever industry you're in, do you have any experience in that industry? Are you a W-2 employee or a 1099? if we all know that we have the PTL, personal term loan, CC for credit challenge, and A for A paper, good quality, 680 or above. If you're a W-2, you can, if you work there for 12 months, you qualify. If you're self-employed, you have to show 2 years, 24 months if you're a 1099. But again, not a reason to disqualify anyone. We just keep going. Do you have any collateral? Maybe they have houses. Maybe they have rental property. Maybe they have a Corvette. Maybe they have a gun collection or a coin collection worth $1 million. Whatever. If they have some collateral, it's worth looking at. Do you have any retirement assets? 401k, IRA? Oh my God, I can't touch that. If I touch that, they'll get severe interest penalties from the IRS. And okay, but you don't, I'm not going to go into it. We have a way to avoid penalties, interest, and I forget the last one, from the IRS. We don't have to worry about that. We have a way that we can get into the retirement account without experiencing any penalties. Stock options. Do you have any stock that you can use as collateral? We're only on 8, and I haven't even shown you the back office. Wow. Target program and why. Now, we are their expert. If you do all of the things that we've gone through today, if you do those things, and by the way, if you want this in writing, you can request this in writing. You just send a request to info1, INFO, the number 1, at ezfinancialgroupllc.com, and we have this in writing, so you can go over this program, and you can we have a skeleton that you can go over this program, and you can use it as a guideline. Okay, convey the reason why the program is targeted. If we have the credit restoration first, the unsecured business finance next, the PTL after that, and then a big loan after that. Explain why. Explain why we're doing that, so that they understand that if they don't fix their credit, they're dead. And the way I do it is, well, John, you know, if you're serious about real estate investing, you do understand that you have to have good credit, right? And then I shut up, wait for him to say, right. Well, great. Or he might say, well, the guru told me I didn't need any credit. Well, that's true. You don't need any credit, but somebody has to have good credit. Your cosigner, for example. Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Spotlight the benefits and the customization that you're going to do for their scenario. Remember, I've said it many times now. We are customizing this program to fit that client. He might have to go through several steps. It's not a one and done deal. He might have to go through a little bit of tender loving care. But guess what? No one else is going to give this to him. They're going to just tell him, no, you're out of your mind. No, we're not going to do that. Decline. What you're doing is you're building a rapport with your client, and they're going to know, like, and trust you. Go over the reasons why this is their best option, and this might be their only option. But you want to tell them that it is their best option, and why it could potentially be their only option, simply by asking them a question. How many other people already told you no? 10. Well, you don't want me to be number 11 now, do you? No. Well, then this is what you need to do. I want to help you. I want to get this. I want to be your banker for the next 10 years. The next 10 projects that you do, I want to be involved in them. Set the right expectations. What docs are needed? Well, lightly mention the type of documents that are needed for a preliminary review. Explain options to obtain a credit report. You can get a credit report yourself, or I can get it for you right now. Yeah, let's do that. You type in the login to Identity IQ. You ask them for their name, their phone number, their email address, blah, 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 everything that you need, and the credit card that they're going to use to pay for it. You get the credit report on your computer. You save it to your desktop. You send them a copy of their credit report, and guess what? You put a copy of their credit report with their application and you send it in to Regina. And if there's any work that needs to be done on the credit, she will take it over because that is her complete domain. You want to make sure that they sign and date their application. And they also want to know that all required owners, remember, if somebody owns 20% or more of whatever it is we're talking about, that person has to be on the documents as well. Reinforce the internal review process and how long it'll take. Now, it may take, we do have a 24 to 48 hour approval, but this particular putting out houses on the moon might take a little bit longer to process. So would you please bear with me? Would you give us at least a week? Yeah, that's reasonable. Okay, good. Wonderful. Communicate that the email you're sending will have a complete list of items needed, and make sure that you check your spam. And maybe I'll send you an email right now, and I want you to put me on your whitelist. So when we send you your checklist, it will not go into your spam. But check your spam anyway if you don't get it, and I'll be following up with a contact, which is a phone call, a text, and an email. I'm running out of breath. Okay, the goal and the estimated time of arrival. You want to get their commitment out of them. You want to finish up the initial call by stating your goal in helping them to lead, obtain the operating capital that they need. If it's operating capital, if it's buying a property, whatever it is, you want to make them understand that you're trying to bring them to their goals and get them what they want. You need to be confident that you can do that. And you have to ask them when you should be receiving the documents. If they say they'll send you the documents that you've requested, ask them when. Will I have them by tomorrow morning? Are you in a hurry to get this thing done? Yes. Will I have the documents by this afternoon? Yes. Okay, I'll be waiting for them this afternoon. Repeat it so that they remember that, hey, these guys are really serious. Conclude with a story. You know, we just initiated the PTL CC program, and one of our clients got $40,000 on the UBF program and $50,000 on the PTLCC program. Have any of you heard me tell you that story? It's true, and it happened. And if you tell the success story, the person that you're telling that story to substitutes who you just told a story about for themselves. They see themselves in that position. Oh man, that could be me. I could have gotten 25 to 40,000 on the UBF program, and I could have gotten that 40,000 on the PTLCC program. I'd have $90,000 to work with right now. They see themselves in that position. Understand their scenario, know the target programs that we want to put them in, or at least that we want to explore. Request the right documents to review. Don't give me the wrong documents. Set the right expectations. Make sure that they understand what you're doing. They're not going to get $1 million today. They might have to work at it. And there are no options. Suggest credit restoration or search for a credit partner. That's the one thing I didn't touch on today is even if they say, yes, I've got somebody who has perfect credit, and yes, I want to involve that person and get that person, that person with the perfect credit to help me. If you're serious about, you fill in the blank, I'm going to say real estate. If you're serious about real estate, you need to have good credit, right? Right. But I'm bringing a credit partner. Yeah, but you don't always want to have a credit partner. You want to be the one, you want to have all the money, don't you? Well, yeah. Well, then let me put you through the credit restoration, repair, or sterilization, whichever one works for you. The guys that you're the one, work it out and make sure that they get themselves in good credit standing because they're going to need it on the next deal. You can offer them the merchant processing, which has been a tough one. The merchant line of credit, we've had some bumps and bruises with that. They seem to be working themselves out, but they can get quick money. Everyone gets approved for something based on their credit score. We will be building rapport and credibility. Will follow if this is done properly. Again, this whole thing is going to be available to you. You'll have to, I'm not finished. Getting the commitment, your time and effort is invested. You've invested a lot of time and effort. We've invested a little over an hour right now in this program. So your time is spent on education, members office. Oh, this is something we're talking about doing, setting up a daily call so that we go over a daily half-hour call. You want to coach up your referral sources. Those are your standard agents. You want to coach them up so that they're giving you the right stuff from the get-go. We want to have an initial consultation with the lead, and you want to gather the correct documents for the funding that you're actually reviewing. And then we went over pre-approval and potential clients. Follow up with the leads. Now we're going to, what do you want to avoid? You don't want a lead to go shop around. I had a client one day and he had perfect credit, and I told him all about our program. He said he could do that himself. He went out and he came back and he had like 25 inquiries. Then he came to me and said, I wasn't able to do it. Can you just give me that same deal you did before? No, you shot yourself in the foot. You made a mistake. You didn't trust me. You went out and you thought you could do it yourself, and you ended up with getting so many inquiries. It's going to be 2 or 3 years before you can ever get another loan. The lead not comprehending your guidance, if they plan on shopping around, it's just because they didn't understand what you were saying to them, or they didn't believe you, one or the other. The person thinks they can do it themselves. They'll shoot themselves in the foot every time. They'll get so many inquiries that they won't be able to get anything. The potential client didn't really understand the funding programs and the solutions. They may not have understood the steps that we went through, getting their credit squared away, getting them a small loan, getting them a bigger loan, then getting the loan that they ultimately really wanted. What do you need to do to recap for this scenario? Why the target program is the best or only option. It may be their only option. Set the expectations on the preliminary funding review. You want to convey the goal of a long-term relationship. I want to be with you this deal, and I want to be with you for the next 10 deals that you do. If you buy fixing and flipping houses, I want to be your go-to guy. I don't want you going anywhere else. I want you to come to me every time. The more you come to me, the better the deal's going to be, because we'll have experience and we'll have a relationship. Express there are no application fees with your process, and you're certainly working for them now for free. Does that sound fair to you? A statement, does that sound fair to you after everything that we say? Most people will say, yeah, that sounds fair. And what you've just done is you've planted that seed. Well, Frank is an awfully fair guy. He didn't have to do that. That was pretty nice of him to do such and such. Does that sound fair to you? When they say, yes, that's pretty fair, they have committed to themselves. And then you want to confirm of items that are coming your way. Okay, so John, you said you're going to have the documents to me this afternoon. What time shall I be expecting them? You want to confirm that they're coming. You're getting the commitment through the initial consultation. Ask questions like a banker would ask, and application fee. Now, we don't charge an application fee right now. I talked about a whole lot of work just now, and we are considering charging an application fee, and you can let me know in info1, info number one, at ezfinancialgroupllc.com, whether you think it's a good idea to charge an application fee, and if so, how much. We also want to tell them that we are going to give them 1 year consulting support. If we charge them an application fee, let's say it's $500. If we give them an application fee for $500 and we tell them we're going to give them consulting support for a year's worth of support for $500 is a cheap price. What have we really done? We've really locked this client into us for the next year. That's what we've really done. Okay. Get the commitment. Questions and solutions. What are the 3 things that a new affiliate should look at? I don't really have time to go into it. It's in your back office. You go to your first 3 tabs on your affiliate program in the back office. You go in your first 3 tabs. You learn those first 3 tabs. Then you go down to inputting leads. That's the 4th thing. You want to make sure that you have your W-9 in so that you get paid right away. There's no hang-ups or waiting to get paid. And you want to be looking at the unsecured finance masterclass. This will make you an absolute expert on unsecured business funding and PTL. It's a great program for that. What is the UBF? What if the lead doesn't want credit cards? What he wants a true line of credit for his real estate investing? Well, you should get them the credit cards anyway because they need them. But if they say, oh, absolutely not, I don't want to do that program, we have the PTL, the personal term loan, and a lot of other things to discuss. There's a lot of ways we can skin that cat if he doesn't want the credit cards. I'm going to skip that. I'm not going to give you examples. Okay. What are some ways that you can create interaction with your client? If he doesn't have a name for his business, help him think about a name for his business. Help them complete the application. Fill it out for them, actually. You pull it up on your screen and just ask them the questions and you fill it out. Or Ask him about his use of funds and get excited. What are you going to do with the funds? And when they tell you, get excited. What's your return on investment? I expect to make 150% on the money I get from you. Get excited as if it was you are making the 150%. Get excited. That'll get that person excited. And then talk about future expansion. You're always selling the next application. You're doing this deal, but you're always selling the next one. That person now knows that you care about their deal right now, and you care about the next deal that they're going to do. Well, I've kept you this long. If there are any questions, my God, you guys hung in there for a whole lot longer. I did not plan it to go this long, and I missed half of what I wanted to show you. Okay, so if you have any questions, just unmute yourself, shout out your questions. Who's calling? Shout out your questions, and I will do my very best to answer. Yikes. I guess I scared you all to death. Okay. If you want to get this program in writing, you send a request to info1@ezfinancialgroupllc.com. If you want to work with me and you want me to dial phone calls with you, I have an outbound Skype phone number that you and I can be on a call, and I can dial out to your clients and we can work with your clients together. If you work with me for 2 or 3 calls, many times, okay, if you work with me for 2 or 3 calls, many times, by the end of the 3rd call, I say almost the same thing all the time. So you will just learn what to say. And again, if you want this program that we just outlined completely, you would just go to info1@ezfinancialgroupllc.com. Tell me, send me the hard copy, and we'll send you the hard copy so that you'll have a reference to look at. I hope that you would get a 3-ring binder, the one with the plastic page inserts, print it out, slip it inside of those clear plastic page inserts, and have a book ready for you. My Skype name is Frank. Alio is my middle name. Alio is my last name. And I'm in Lakeview, USA. So Frank Alio, Lakeview, United States of America, USA. And my Skype phone number is 843-492-4938. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I didn't expect it to go this long. I knew it was going to go 45 minutes. I didn't think I was so verbose, but I guess I am. All right. With any other questions? Does anyone want to unmute themselves and make some noise? All right. Well, I'm going to say, guys, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it. God bless. Have a safe and happy New Year.